All right, welcome back to video 3, guys, here on week 3 of March. This video is going to be about running form. Now, this could be an entire hour-long seminar on running form. There's a lot that you can go into on this. We're going to keep it short and brief and really hit the highlights, okay? There's a lot of mechanics that go into proper running form, so I'm going to jump on the things that I see most commonly people doing wrong. Number 1 has got to be just the way that their foot is landing. And I'll just show you guys here with the shoe. A lot of people heel strike when they run, and heel striking is not how your body is mechanically or biomechanically engineered to perform a running motion, right? So a lot of people will come down like this, and that heel will hit, and then they'll round their foot, and then they'll push off, right? And it kind of becomes this strike roll motion, right? And that's why a lot of running shoes are developed with those really thick, cushiony heels, is because that helps absorb the impact. Because naturally, your foot has an arch in it, right? That arch is what is supposed to be your shock absorber. So as you land on your foot, that flattens out a little bit as like a spring, like a shock, and then it recoils and gives you some lift off, right, through your calf and your ankle. If you land on your heel, you completely eliminate the motion of your arch, and you send all that shock and all that pressure, all that force goes through your heel, up into your ankle, up into your knee, up into your hip, right? So you're not mitigating as much, and that's why running shoes are developed the way that they are. If you can learn to run with a proper form and a proper foot strike, a lot of injuries and repetitive stress injuries, especially that come from running, start to just disappear, okay? So what does that look like? What does a proper foot strike look like? So a proper foot strike, you don't want to come down on your heel, you don't want to come down on your toes. You want to come down on your midfoot, which is basically just kind of the balls of your feet, right? So if these are the balls of your feet here, you're coming down like this, kind of on them. So from the shoe, the way that looks like is you come down right about there. Right there every time. You're not on your toes, right about there. And then your heel basically taps the ground, and that allows your arch to flatten out, absorb that intake or absorb that impact, and then your calf gets to recoil and push back off. And so it's more of a natural kind of a boom, tap, boom motion instead of this rolling kind of cartoon walking motion. It's just boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, boom. Now this has a lot of nuances with it, and it might feel uncomfortable at first. Your calves might get tight at first, your ankles might get sore at first, so I don't recommend transitioning into a proper running gait. If you're in the middle of training for a race or something like that, wait until the off season when you're not actively training for something to really kind of nail this down. The other thing that I see a lot of people dealing with when they're running and the form is just not great is they get some low back pain, right? And sometimes that can be from tight hips, but a lot of times this is from people who just run really, really upright. And what we're doing when we do that is we're trying to stretch through our hips with every step we take. But if we can't do that, we end up hyperextending our low back a little bit to get that forward foot out a little further, to make that stride a little bit longer. And it just causes this little bit of sway in the low back, and eventually these muscles just get tired. You do it a few times, not a big deal, but you do it 1,000 times during a run, it's going to start to build up, and you're going to start to ache in that low back. So how do we prevent that? It's just a little bit of a hip hinge when we run. You don't have to lean way forward, right? We're not doing a sprint where you need to be forward like that or anything, but just a little bit of relaxed hip hinge here allows you to have a much more natural running gait where your center of gravity is forward, kind of over your foot here. You're not extending your foot out in front of you like, I don't know, I can only compare it to like a cartoon running, right? So take a look at both of those things, see how you're running, look up, there's videos all over YouTube, get a running coach even, go to the Good Feet store, lots of different places that will help you to nail this and get this right. Because if you can adapt your running form to be more natural, your injuries will start to disappear, your conditioning will get better, your times will get better, and you'll just be more competitive and have more fun running.